Anyone after a loss will experience grief, loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of health. And we go through the stages of grief as originally proposed by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, if you remember. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance. Well, there's new research out. A gentleman named David Kessler published a text last year proposing a sixth stage of grief, and that sixth stage is meaning. And in his text, he proposes that it's not enough just to accept the loss or adjust to the loss, but to find the meaning in it. What is the good that came out of this event? And if you can find the good after an event like a stroke, that's resilience. One of the techniques that our counselors, our case managers use is to invite people to tell another strength story. You may invite them to go back to a time when they experienced a loss or a disappointment or a setback, and what did they do at that point to move forward. Part of the strategy in education and in counseling is to let the patient and the family know what's going on neurologically, biologically. When we are stuck in a negative emotional state, depression, anger, fear, it kicks in that fight or flight response, or that survival, we get in survival mode, right? And it really limits our response repertoire to running, hiding, fighting, or freezing. And so when we get curious about what's happened to us, we get curious about the stroke, it opens up the cortex, the creative, problem-solving parts of our brains, and helps us actually get out of that vicious cycle of negative emotion. There's a patient I worked with recently who was a gentleman in his fifth decade, high-stress job, had a couple of comorbidities that are associated with stroke, hypertension, diabetes, and he unfortunately experienced a massive left hemisphere stroke. Made a good initial recovery, came to us, but was hemiparetic on the right side and had a dense expressive aphasia. When he wasn't working, he was playing golf or fishing, and thought that his life was essentially over after the stroke. He eventually was able to live independently in an apartment. He passed a driving eval and was able to modify his favorite pickup truck to drive. It was really a beautiful outcome, and he again learned to thrive even after the injury. This is not an easy thing to go through. It's hard work, but it's work worth doing. And CNS is a place where we focus on the whole person. So it's not just enough to get someone back to doing daily activities. It really is through our counseling, education, case management to help people achieve that quality of life, going back to those things that are meaningful and do bring them joy.